Hey, what's going on, YouTube? The topic for today is, are carbs bad? So, are carbs bad? This is another macronutrient. I'm going to kind of cover them all in order here. So I covered last time I talked briefly about fat, and which is one of the most demonized macros, and then we're getting to the other most demonized macro, and that's carbohydrates. Are carbs wicked? Are they bad? Will carbs make you fat? Yeah. This one is a little more complicated for me to answer, and I will just say this: I'm not super in on all the science. I've heard, especially a lot of people on the ketogenic diet, say that proteins are essential, fats are essential, but carbs are not essential. I don't know how true that is, but I can kind of understand where it could be. Carbs in general, at least for me, hold on a second. There, no more reflection. Sorry about that. Carbs are something that I feel like most of us respond very differently to. Some people are very carb sensitive. Some people, eating carbs is, they have to really, if they're going to lose fat or even maintain their weight, they have to be careful about their carbohydrates. I'm one of those people, it seems. Some people seem to, you see people who are in great shape or have no problem eating plenty of carbs. So, as a whole, carbohydrates, I think, are not bad or the enemy. This is my opinion, and I know keto people don't come after me. I've done keto before. I know it has advantages to cutting carbs, so just listen for a second. I don't think carbohydrates are bad, mostly because some of the very things in nature that we know are healthy for us that grow, like fruits, are carbohydrates. An apple, it has carbohydrates, plenty of them. And it's not unhealthy to eat an apple. I think you would have to be a little bit crazy to try and assert that eating an apple is an unhealthy decision. I just don't get behind that. So that brings me to, a lot of the times, just like fats, it's the types of carb sources you choose to implement in your diet that make a difference. It's what kinds of carbohydrates you choose. Eating candy and sugary garbage is not, obviously that's not a healthy decision. But I do believe there are good, healthy sources of carbohydrate out there, such as fruit. I love oatmeal. It makes me feel great. Some people would say grains you need to stay away from. I'm fine with that, but that's just not for me. I like oatmeal. I like Ezekiel bread. I like things like that, sweet potatoes, those kind of things. So carbs are not bad, in my humble opinion. They are not evil. However, you need to, and this is where I want to kind of end this, you need to know your body and how it responds to carbs. Do you have a highly sensitive tendency to fat gain if you eat a lot of carbs? I do, for some reason. This is just my body, I guess the way my insulin, this is a hormone type thing that I've done some research on, that the way my insulin responds to carbohydrates can be pretty bad. And when there's your body's flooded with insulin, it's really hard to drop fat. When I first decided in May that I'm going to start doing this to take steps to lose fat, I decided I was not going to do it in some sort of like carb cutting manner, in the sense that was going to be my main thing. My key factor, and I keep going back to this, is I'm tracking calories, and I want to have a calorie deficit at the end of the day, and that is the main goal. And so far, it is working better than anything else I've tried. I feel more satiated and satisfied when I eat and stay under my calorie deficit than I have ever trying to cut out carbs or cut out fat. But now something I'm experimenting with, and my body seems to be working well with this, is on days that I lift weights, when I train heavy and lift weights, which is 4 days a week for me, on those days, I don't really worry so much about carbs other than I choose good sources. I choose, good rice and sweet potato and oatmeal and those kinds of sources. And I don't really worry so much about how many carbs I'm getting in those days because I feel better in my training and I'm using more of them for fuel. So at least that's kind of what it feels like. And then on days that I'm resting, that I'm not exercising, days that I'm not going to the gym and lifting weights, I try and restrict carbs a bit more. Now, it's not like hardcore keto type diets. I'll still have some, but I restrict them more on those days. And this experiment for me seems to be working pretty good. So anyway, try some things out. Try that out if you seem to be carb sensitive like I am. But here's what I'm trying to get at. Carbs are not bad. As a macronutrient, I don't believe that they are awful or bad for you. Know your body and how it responds to them, and experiment and act accordingly. Try some different things. If cutting carbs works for you and you feel good cutting carbs and you are losing more fat and it's something you feel like you can continue to do, is just eat green leafy vegetables for your carb sources, which are low in actual carbs, more high in fiber, then more power to you. Do that. But no, I don't believe carbs are bad. Know your body and how it responds to them. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for taking the time to check out Family Man Fat Loss. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. If you would do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks.